Welcome to the Gaming Lounge Christmas special. We've got all the stuff you'll want for Christmas. The newest Call of Duty, Black Ops, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, and classic gaming DLC with Crazy Taxi. But first, game news. Rumours around a PlayStation phone have increased following some leaked images of the device. The images show it to be currently branded Sony Ericsson and running a custom build of Google's Android platform. The device looks to have no analog sticks, opting for a traditional D-pad. And finding a job in the games industry is set to get even tougher with the major downsizing of Chrome Studios. At its peak, Chrome employed around 400 staff, which has now been cut down to around 50, with all those artists and coders joining the many games degree graduates all looking for a games industry job. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit follows a recent trend by EA of reusing existing game titles in order to signify a revamp of the series. This Hot Pursuit is being handled by Criterion, the developers of Burnout, and their skill in super fast arcade racing definitely shows through. Set in the fictional world of Seacrest County, ridiculously expensive supercars race around the long, winding highways, and the world's best funded police force is tasked with chasing them down. This pre-rendered clip sums it up nicely. The most ridiculous example is probably the 177. Only 77 of these Aston Martins were made, and during the course of the game, between the cops and the racers, you'll probably total at least 77 of them. So as cops and racers, you can go from everything from a Bentley to a Bugatti, but even the starting cars are quick. Thanks to Criterion being at the helm, the sense of speed is great and it's really easy drift handling. There's simultaneously a cop and racer career that you can go between and pick an event you want to do at any given time. As a racer, you'll do time trials, races, previews, but the most exciting events are when the cops are involved. These cops are very aggressive, especially later in the game. They'll use spikes, choppers, EMPs and roadblocks in order to slow you down and stop you. Similarly, in events when you play as a cop, you'll have access to all these techniques and supporting vehicles. To add strategy, do you use an EMP early on when you're chasing someone, or do you get ahead and drop spikes in front of them? The AI will use spike strips on other racer cars as well as you being a cop, but you can also accidentally get yourself sending a chopper ahead of you and you could find yourself running into the spike strip that it drops down. The racer AI is also aggressive and will U-turn, drop spikes and jam radar and duck into shortcuts. You rank up at a crazy pace and in most events, even though you weren't first, you'll still probably unlock something. The ranking can be pretty similar between cops and racers, so you'll just get the cop version of a car you've already unlocked as a racer, but still keeps it exciting and keeps you wanting to come back and play more. The worst events are the time trials and rapid response basic events where there's harsh penalties for damage and just feel mundane compared to the exciting modes versus the cops or versus the racers. The new auto-log system takes your friends' results and puts them straight into your game even when you're in the single player to have times to beat in the various races that you compete in. When you beat their time at an event, it suggests you post it on their wall to brag about it, which is a bit unnecessary but thankfully optional. When you are truly online, there are standard races and duels, but the most fun is to be had in the Hot Pursuit mode. 4 guys are playing as cops and 4 as racers, and all the abilities are carried over from single player. And as you can see, it's just chaos. The amount of abilities being employed at one time is just really intense. So overall, it's an excellent and addictive arcade racer, and definitely something you should pick up for Christmas. Treyarch have been brought back in for the next Call of Duty installment, and this time it's not modern or World War II, but jumps around in time periods including Vietnam and the Cold War. It really makes little difference to the gameplay though, as this is typical Call of Duty stuff, just faster and more over the top. The story is linked together with cutscenes that are flashbacks of an interrogated soldier, and many critics have called this the best Call of Duty story yet, but I found the constant return to Sam Worthington in a chair yelling about numbers to be pretty grating and annoying. but the twist at the end is good and I won't spoil it for you. The setting jumps do keep things feeling fresh and you'll always be using a different weapon and against a different type of enemy. You'll be constantly bombarded with waves of enemies, but there seem to be less of the eternally spawning sections where the only way to advance is to push forward. Moving and firing guns is as super smooth as ever, but the guns sound hollow and a bit weak, especially compared to Medal of Honor. AI teammates are average, they don't do much but they don't get in the way. Enemies don't really flank or do anything exciting. The occasional slow-mo events such as rappelling through a window in slow motion are quite cool. The graphics are quite good as expected as this runs on the Modern Warfare 2 engine at 1080p. Treyarch have included a zombie mode as they did with World at War, and it doesn't have the appeal of the Spec Ops cooperative missions which are quite tactical, but it is a bit of fun and I did really like the intro with Kennedy.
It appears the Pentagon has been breached.
Zombies. Gentlemen, at times like these, our capacity to retaliate must be and has to be massive to deter all forms of aggression. Gentlemen, lock and load. Do not pray for easy lives, my friends. Pray to be stronger men.
Of course, a lot of people won't even play the single player campaign, you jump straight into the multiplayer, which is pretty much like an improved Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer. Despite being said in the past, all the ACOG sights and red dot scopes are all available to you pretty much straight away, and you now have a cash-based system where you can unlock new things based on currency that you get from experience playing the game and playing more matches. You can't argue with numbers, and the amount of people playing this means that you can pick any game mode in a massive list and pretty much everyone will have a good connection match with people from your area. The modes range from deathmatch to dominations to more tactical modes like search and destroy and capture the flag. Capture the flag being my favourite. Due to fan feedback, there's no more nuke, there's different kill streaks now, including the RCXD, which is a remote control car with a bomb on the back. Overall, it still plays great with great online, but I'm hoping for something a lot more innovative next time around. Crazy Taxi originally came out in the arcades and on Dreamcast and then was ported to PS2. I played it in the arcades and on PS2 and loved its addictive one more time feel. You play as a cabbie picking up fares and trying to get them to their destination as quickly as possible at any cost, doing jumps and drifts to make more money because your passengers seem to like it even though it would be really dangerous. If you get there quick enough, you get a time bonus, then pick it up another fare, rinse and repeat, keep going until you run out of time. It's now been ported to the PS3 and 360 as downloadable content. The physics are ridiculous and you can pinball off walls and cars. You can do tricks by switching between reverse and drive, and these are used to do your drifts and your quick starts. And they're necessary not only for better times in the arcade mode, but to be able to pass Crazy Box, which is a set of mini games designed for you to practice these tricks in the game. The game still runs super smooth, but the graphics have dated fairly harshly, which is surprising because I remember the graphics being amazing when I played it last. The original tracks from the first game have been replaced with more generic tunes because of a licensing issue. It's not really a big deal for me, and there's now a lack of product placement with real destinations being replaced with generic alternatives, which is a bit disappointing. Overall, still great fun in short bursts and a definite pickup for anyone who enjoyed the original. So that's it for the Christmas edition of the Gaming Lounge. Cheers.